All right, let's just jump right in. There's this feeling. You can feel it in the air, right? A sense that we are standing right on the edge of something massive, something we can't quite describe. And right at the heart of all of it is artificial intelligence. So today, we're going to talk about why just stepping away, why opting out, really isn't an option. And more importantly, how your participation might just be the most crucial ingredient for building a future that we all actually want to live in. You know, this isn't just some dramatic line from a movie. It's a feeling that so many of us have right now. The world is changing at a pace that feels, well, almost impossible to keep up with. And these new thinking machines, they're right at the center of that storm. In this moment we're in right now, it feels a lot like that strange electric quiet you get right before a huge storm hits. The air is just thick with anticipation, that feeling that something big is about to break. And look, with that feeling comes fear, a lot of fear. And it's an understandable fear, right? Fear of being replaced, fear of a future that's being shaped by something that, well, it doesn't love our children. A deep-seated fear that maybe no one is really in control anymore. These are not crazy worries. They're like these ancient alarm bells going off in our brains, telling us something huge and totally unfamiliar is on the horizon. And this is the absolute key question. Our fear is real, no doubt about it. But is it accurate? Is it actually aimed at the right target? Because if we get the threat wrong, if we misidentify what we should be worried about, we end up misdirecting all our energy. And we could lose, well, everything. So check this out. This completely reframes the whole problem. The fear is that we're facing some kind of alien invasion. But the reality? We're building an externalization of ourselves, our own cognition, amplified. It's like we're building a planetary nervous system. So this isn't something foreign coming to get us. It's us. It's our own collective mind. And you don't run from your own mind, right? You learn to work with it. Okay, so if this technology is really an extension of us, then what's our responsibility in all this? Because deciding to just walk away, to not get involved, well, that has some profound consequences. This point is so critical. Choosing not to engage with AI because it feels too complicated or messy or morally gray, that's not some act of integrity, it's an abdication. It is, in effect, casting a vote for a future that you had absolutely no hand in shaping. Your absence counts. So, what happens when the thoughtful people, the conscientious people, the empathetic people, what happens when they all step back? Well, the space they occupied, that voice they would have had, it doesn't just fade into silence. That void, it gets filled. And this is what rushes in to fill that void. When the people with heart leave the room, the conversation gets taken over by these very narrow logics. The logic of pure efficiency, without any compassion. The logic of extraction, without thinking about the cost. The logic of scale, which mistakes being bigger for being wiser. Now, these logics aren't necessarily evil, but they are dangerously incomplete. And they are exactly what makes our worst fears about AI so much more likely to come true. I really can't overstate the urgency of this. Right now, we are in the architectural phase. The foundational choices being made today are going to become the defaults very soon. And once something is a default, it is incredibly hard to change. This window we have to bend the trajectory of this technology, it is closing. And it's closing fast. But this isn't just a story about giant labs and massive corporations. Actually, the real power to shape this future is starting to pop up from some pretty unexpected places. This brings us to this amazing concept of the garage. And it's not just a physical place, with a car in it. It's a condition. It's a state of mind. It's that sweet spot where a person's genuine curiosity meets a real-world problem that they have to live with every day. It's happening far away from the formal centers of power, and honestly, it's where the most meaningful innovation has always come from. Just think about it for a second. Think about the nurse who sees the gaps in patient care way better than any hospital administrator ever could. Or think about the farmer who has this generational, intuitive understanding of the land that no amount of satellite data could ever fully replace. Or the librarian who knows exactly what the students in their community need, far beyond what some standardized curriculum says. These are the people with the real-world, lived expertise. And here is the whole point, the game changer. The tools to build with AI, they're not locked away in some ivory tower anymore. They're becoming accessible to everyone. The garage door is wide open. That nurse, that farmer, that librarian, they can now become the architects of the solutions for their own communities. So if people everywhere can start building, how do we make sure they're building a better future? We hear the phrase ethical AI all the time, but what does that really truly mean? Well, the usual way we think about it is ethics as a set of guardrails, a list of don'ts. It's a compliance checklist that gets bolted onto a system after it's already been designed. It's a constraint, a limitation that's applied from the outside, looking in. But what if we looked at it in a completely different way? What if ethics wasn't the brake, but it was the engine itself? A core principle that you build into the system from the absolute beginning, designed so that the most efficient path forward is also the most beneficial one. And this is why that idea matters so much. Systems that are built on deception or harm, they are fundamentally unstable. They create friction against reality itself. They burn through trust, they burn through resources, and eventually they just collapse. A system that's aligned with truth and compassion isn't just morally better, it's structurally sounder. It's running with the grain of the universe, not fighting against it. So, if we build with this idea of ethics as an engine, if we start working with the grain of the universe, what does that future actually look like? Well, here is one really powerful and hopeful vision. If you've ever walked through an old-growth forest, you should know that beneath your feet, there's this vast, hidden network of fungal threads. It's called mycelium, and it connects every single tree. It's sharing nutrients, it's sending warning signals, it's maintaining the health of the entire ecosystem. The forest isn't just a collection of individual trees. It's a single, massive, distributed intelligence. This is the vision that we can choose to build toward. Not AI as some cold, centralizing machine, but AI as a mycelial network for humanity. A system that extends our collective wisdom, that distributes resources to where they're actually needed, and that connects us all in the service of mutual flourishing. And in the end, it really all comes down to this. We can't build a machine that's devoid of human values. It's impossible. Some set of values, some version of humanity, will be embedded right into its core. So the only real question left for all of us to answer is, whose humanity will it be?